Welcome, everyone, to Fanboy Frenzy, the only podcast on the internet that thinks like Batman but looks more like the Penguin. I am your host, Ryan Jarvis, and for this episode, we are going to be reviewing Batman Arkham Knight for the PlayStation 4. This happens to be Rocksteady's third and final attempt. Not attempt, really, but approach to the Batman franchise. And oh, what an approach it has been thus far. I, right now, have clocked in about 3 hours into the gameplay itself. So I haven't actually completed the game just yet. However, from what I've seen, this game is going to be an absolute wonderful, wonderful experience for not only gaming fans, but fans of the Batman. What we're going to be doing in this video is essentially I'm going to be giving you some gameplay review. I'm going to talk about a little bit of the story, kind of what I think is going to happen out of it, and so far how it kind of compares to previous Arkham games in terms of the gameplay, etc. Now, later on this week, probably in the next day or two, once the game has been complete and I've given it some thought, I do plan on going and kind of doing a review as well about the overall story with spoilers and how the whole Arkham franchise it kind of plays out together one after another, and I will include Arkham Origins and Blackgate as well, even though they were done by Montreal Warner Brothers, not Rocksteady. So, without further ado, as you can see in the gameplay behind, I'm doing a side mission right now, and I just happened to rescue a firefighter, which I won't give away any of the story there, but you'll clearly see here that the gameplay, the combat is very, very similar to what you would expect in an Arkham game. Now, the very beginning of the game, I must say, is very emotional because there's a specific scene I'm referencing, and when you play it, fanboys and fangirls, you will clearly know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a scene that you have to actually initiate yourself, and in the midst of that, it really brings a finality, if you will, to this Arkham franchise. And I don't think I'm giving anything away in saying this, but as the game begins, you actually are getting a narration from what seems to be Commissioner Gordon. And he's talking about that this is the night that the Batman dies. So a lot of the fans have been wondering, is Batman going to die? If you remember, there was a statue, a commemorative statue, that comes with one of the special editions commemorating Batman and his overall, presence in the city of Gotham. Now, granted, I'm not saying he has to be dead for that to happen. Ooh, I just kicked him in his freaking face. See, Batman don't play around. But, it doesn't mean that he has to die. I mean, if you've seen Rocky or anything like that, you'll know that Rocky had a statue and he didn't die. And look what I just did there. I just threw a freaking bat bomb on that car, blew it up, and then just started destroying these guys. I'm telling you, this game is freaking amazing. But with that being said, it starts off with narration talking about the night that Batman died. So this happens between 9 and 12 months after the Arkham City game. So the city is actually, believe it or not, the police force and Batman alike were all waiting on this huge power struggle from within Gotham's underbelly, within Gotham's underworld, after the death of the Joker. No one really knew who was going to take over and be that next big supervillain douchebag to run rampant over the citizens of Gotham. But what we learn is that actually after the Joker dies, crime has now dropped down substantially. With that being said, that's only on the surface. In actuality, if you continue into the story here, you'll realize that at the very beginning, it is said that Poison Ivy gives the dialogue stating that Scarecrow himself stepped up to the plate, so to speak, at this point, and began to get some of the supervillains together like Two-Face and the Penguin, and of course Poison Ivy and the Riddler. Now, they could be playing the whole, gotcha, like they did in Arkham Origins, which again, I'm going to reference because to me it is a point of canon. It is canon, actually, because there are scenes in this game that reference parts of that game. So I'm going to use it as canon. And you all know, if you played that game, that you got the big old woohoo, you got the big old wool pulled over your eyes as you were playing it, because you realized that who you were fighting the whole time was not who you were fighting the whole time. It was a complete bat brain numbing experience. But nonetheless, it was a good one. Now, look at the combat here. Already, you're starting off with heavier armored enemies, which in previous Batman games were not usually this early into the game. Usually, you had to wait to run into those enemies, like that one right there. Now, I'm trying to get used to the combat a little bit, because I'm sure I'm not the only Bat fan out there that when you start playing the game, it takes a handful of hours. Ooh, smoked, kicked him in the nuts and the knee at the same time. I mean, that's just freaking amazing. But I'm sure I'm not the only Batman. Look at that. Look at how you get into the car. I get into my Honda Civic the same way. No joke, fanboys. But with that being said, you'll notice that Batman, the city is very, very dense. Stuff everywhere. Stuff for the Batmobile to destroy. And boy, does it. When you're driving that Batmobile, man, it is a tank. And to be quite honest with you, I was going to wait till later to bring this up, but I might as well do it now. Probably my least favorite parts of the story or of the gameplay thus far, it's not the combat. The combat, as you clearly see, is just like the other games, and it is solid as ever. Look, right there is a different kind of enemy that literally will run and give you the Bill Goldberg spear and take you to the ground. But Batman, don't play that shit, man. I headbutt him with my big bat ears, and they are toast. It doesn't matter. Now, what I was saying previously is that the part of the game that I'm really not a big fan of thus far is the Batmobile driving sequences. And it's not because the Batmobile doesn't seem amazing. It's that the Batmobile controls like you would expect. This is not Need for Speed. The Batmobile is not going to control like a Porsche 911. It's not going to control like a Mustang. Believe me when I tell you, it controls like a tank. A tank, for God's sake. Oh, I just got hit in the front by a car. Are you kidding me? Really? You're going to hit Batman with a car? And you're going to go down. I guarantee it. Look, boom, kick, flip back and forth. Ooh, light him up, smoke. Ooh, man, the combat is so great on this game. I swear, if you're a fan of previous games, you just got to get this game. Ooh, look, boom, smoked him, bam. Batman kicked him in the face, rolled over, took that guy out. One more double pound, Ivan Putski style. Now, back to what I was saying. The Batmobile stages, I can't believe I'm saying this, but there literally is, side note, right there is your side mission meter that allows you to go back and forth and set waypoints between specific side missions, because you will come across various supervillains or Batman's rogues gallery as you play the game. And once you come across them, then you can select what mission you want to continue on, including the story mission. I just thought I'd show you that real quick before we continue. Now, back to the Batmobile. There literally are Batmobile platforming stages. Let me say that again. There are Batmobile platforming stages in this game. And I'm going to tell you what, they are a pain in my bat ass. Let me make it clear. Very much a pain in my bat ass, off the chain pain in the butt. Now, the reason for that is because of this. Now, if you are a Metal Gear Solid fan and you're into tactical espionage, sneaking around, etc., trying not to be seen, everybody loves that, and you expect that from that game. Now, what if I told you you're supposed to use the Gears of War engine and use Dom or Marcus to do the same sneaking around? It just does not work. They're too big and clunky for that type of gameplay. So, again, Gears of War would not be a good tactical espionage shooter based off the way the game plays. Now, you can see with the Batmobile here, it's just a tank. It runs over everything. And again, that's fun, but there are parts of it, and I do not show in the video because I'll show it later in another video, but there literally are parts when you have to platform with the freaking Batmobile. Absolutely absurd. But, it really becomes a pain in the butt, and I know that fellow Fanboy Frenzy team member Tiny Tiger who has his Twitch account, Tiny Tiger 87, was actually streaming some gameplay last night around 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, he was doing some of the platforming with the Batmobile. Now, I'll tell you, there comes a point in the game. Look, right there, another Easter egg, Zatanna. Very much awesome that they have so many of these Easter eggs in here. But, he was streaming gameplay as I was doing the same mission. And there comes a point when you got to get into a certain location. You got to use the Batmobile to get up on top of a building. There's a winch that Lucius Fox literally drops off for you from the Batwing, no less, and allows you to go up buildings with the Batmobile. Sounds pretty cool, but I'm going to tell you, its handling makes it monotonous. I messed up multiple times in the mission just because of the mechanics of it. Boom! Forearm. Good God. Talk about Superman punch. Lay down, Roman Reigns. But see, Batman, I just got tackled again. Those enemies seem to be everywhere in the game. You think people run away from Batman, but oh no, not here, they don't. One other thing I want to touch on real quick is the finality of it with the characters. There really is, you can tell, some tension here. From the get-go, when we hear that this is supposed to be the night that Batman dies, like I said, another review from Fanboy Frenzy will come out in the next day or two, dealing with the story and how it's all going to play out if Batman really does die or not. Or if Batman, being Bruce Wayne, just decides to hang up the cape and cowl for now, thinking that he's finally done all he can do. But in the middle of all this, you're seeing that there's a tension building between Barbara Gordon, who happens to be the Oracle. There's a scene in the game where Commissioner Gordon's talking to Barbara. Barbara tells her dad, "Hey, Pops, I'm out of the city because the city completely gets everybody has to get out." Because at the very beginning of it, Scarecrow releases his fear toxin, tells everybody he released just a small amount. Oh, by the way, I'm going into my secret watchtower, or clock tower, base, kind of like a little mini Batcave, in which Oracle, Barbara, is actually there and gives you all the information. Very cool stuff. If you've ever seen the TV show Birds of Prey, which is all based in the Batman universe, and Barbara Gordon, a.k.a. Batgirl, a.k.a. Oracle, is actually in that show, and she's in the clock tower as well. So it's actually a pretty cool Easter egg in its own right. Now, but there's some tension there between Barbara and Batman. There's some tension there between Robin and Batman, because Robin wants to get in here and help Batman, but Batman he ain't having it right now for some reason. It really seems to be that there's going to be a crescendo of emotion, and that a lot is going to come out of this when it's all said and done. I think it behooves me right now to kind of give what I think, or who I think, the Arkham Knight is going to be. I just ran into the Arkham Knight last night, or this morning rather, when I stopped. I wanted to stop at a good point, and I just ran into the Arkham Knight before I went to the Ace Chemicals facility. So that is a spoiler. You will run into the Arkham Knight, but you're not confronting him. But he says something that kind of solidifies what I think, or who I think rather, is the Arkham Knight. For me personally, I think it's going to be Jason Todd, the second Robin, because if we've seen in the games, we've seen Tim Drake, who is the current Robin from the Arkham City game, where you could play with him in his own little mission, and we've seen Nightwing obviously as well. But Nightwing is the original Robin. He's Dick Grayson. But you can see here, as the game progresses and as you play it yourself, you will actually find out, even Rocksteady said, that you're going to be able to get a little bit of a conversation about the Robins. So he didn't exclude the second Robin, which makes me think that perhaps it is Jason Todd. See, right here you're looking at, in previous Batman games, Batman would talk into his scanner. Now it pops up on right from his gauntlet, if you will, and shows you who it is you're talking to at that time, and really gives an awesome effect. Graphically, I think it behooved me to mention the graphics in this game are absolutely amazing. And the reason for that is because Rocksteady did not have to scrimp, if you will, by making this multi-generational platforming. And what I mean is right now it is a multi-plat game because you can get it on either PlayStation 4 or you can get it on Xbox One, but you're not getting it on the 360 and you're not getting it on the PlayStation 3, which sucks for my fanboys and fangirls out there that only have those at present, because this game really is an amazing game so far that I've, the experience I've had with it. I encourage everyone to check it out. But the graphics are amazing because they didn't have to worry about, splicing this to make this work for this system. They were able to go bat balls to the wall, if you will, and really give it, the whole approach. So Gotham City, like I said previously, is so much more dense now. Boom, drop kick, didn't see it coming. Very much like The Dark Knight. But that's what makes it awesome. They were allowed to focus 100% on making the world as realistic as possible, putting tons of enemies in there. As you can tell, even the rain is constantly raining in Gotham. It's always dreary, and Gotham must have been, maybe Seattle? I know it's supposed to be New York, but the point is it rains like it's Seattle all the time. But, the city definitely has a good feel for it. Batman looks amazing on there. But, it's really nostalgic to think that if this is the final legitimate Batman game, I can assure you fanboys and fangirls out there, I told you that by the end of this video, you would know whether or not to pick up the Batman by purchasing it, renting it, or straight up pimp smacking it and forgetting all about it. It is not a waste of money, I can assure you. If you are a Batman fan, a superhero fan, or even a gaming fan, you got to have this game. I'm already 2.5 hours into the game, and it feels like I haven't even scratched the surface. So many characters. Right there's Lucius Fox. Just since you've been watching this game, you have literally seen Lucius Fox, you've seen Commissioner Gordon, you've seen the Oracle. Like I said before, there's already been a scene with Robin, the Tim Drake Robin. So you're going to get a very, very large cast of the Batman character universe. It's very much worth your time to buy this game right now. Give Rocksteady the that respect they deserve by putting in the time and effort to give us a hell of a game. Give them that due, because when there's games out there that take advantage of the gamer, like Destiny and others, you got to reward the developers that are giving you top-notch, content. Like right here, you can see graphically, this game is absolutely far above and beyond even what the previous Arkham games were, including Origins. And that speaks volumes for what you're going to get in the future. I appreciate the fact that you took time to watch our initial review of Batman the Arkham Knight for PlayStation 4. Keep tuned in this week for other game play reviews dealing with side missions. And once the game has been beat, I will do a spoiler-free and a spoiler-filled version of the storyline synopsis while comparing it with previous Arkham games, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and I'll even work in Arkham Blackgate at the exact same time. Thank you, fanboys and fangirls, as we do a live transmission from Gotham City as all hell is breaking loose and Scarecrow and all of the rogues of Batman are taking over the city. As Batman is there to save you, we are here to inform you of just how good this game is thus far. We want to thank you so much for tuning in, and we appreciate the feedback you give us. Please remember to like and subscribe the video and comment below. Talk to you later, fanboys and fangirls. Batman out. Out.